Hey guys, welcome to another video. Today we'll be talking about self-care tips, whether you're a grad student or you're an intern, or maybe you are just a working professional, or you're just someone who wants some self-care tips. Welcome. Today we'll be talking about different areas of self-care that we can practice to help with our mental health and just to kind of relieve stress and live a healthy life, physically and mentally. And so we will get started with the first one. My first tip, especially after months of quarantine, is exercising. And I know it may seem really redundant and cliche, but exercise really helps with your physical and mental health. And it's a huge self-care tip of mine. I used to dread exercising, and sometimes I still do. It's tiring. I mean, you're supposed to push your body and sweat, and it's hard. But whether it's taking a walk in the neighborhood or doing a workout video or playing tennis with your friend or your significant other, it could be any activity that is going to raise your heart rate and get you moving. It's going to help you out so much. And try to get in exercise 3 to 4 times a week. I gained a lot of weight during quarantine, and my main goal was to lose weight, but a byproduct of that has been really enjoying exercise, and I think it's also boosted my mental health as well. So exercising relieves stress and tension. It also increases your physical and mental energy. On top of that, it releases endorphins, serotonin, and dopamine, and a ton of neurotransmitters that's going to boost your mood. And so it's just super important. It's my first self-care tip. Find a form of exercise that you enjoy and do it. Just go out for a walk. Another exercise that I've been really enjoying these days is Just Dance. I've been playing for a while actually, but I've been using it as my form of exercise when I don't want to go for a run, or if I just want to chill with some music and learn some new moves. All right, the second self-care tip that I have for you is sleep. Another one that's super cliche, but it is so important. I can immediately tell that my physical and mental health are impacted when I don't get enough sleep. I just feel groggy, I feel irritable, I'm angry, and on top of that, like I just can't think straight, and my skin also breaks out like crazy. Like in a couple days, if I don't get good sleep, I can tell physically and mentally, and it's really amazing how good sleep can help you in so many aspects of your life. And while the direct relationship between mental health and sleep is complicated, more sleep will lead to better mood, memory, and physical health. Make sure you don't get too much sleep, but get the good 7 to 9 hours. And I know, especially in grad school, you're busy and you have so much to do. And in college, I used to pull all-nighters all the time, but as I'm getting older, I'm prioritizing sleep, and it makes such a huge difference in my life and in my body and in my mind. Okay, my third self-care tip is to read. Like read a book or read an article or learn something new. So this is where I'm going to give you guys a discount code for a couple books that I talk about all the time. This is Dr. Charles Barrett's books that he's recently published. The first one's called It's Always About the Children, and that was just a great book that introduces you about the field. He talks about his own journey into school psychology. It's good for all educators. It's good for people who want to know more about the field. It's great for school psychologists. And then he also has his new book. What is it called? Today in School Psychology? I think it's here. Okay, his new book that's called Today in School Psychology. This is why a day without direct contact with students is wasted. I just finished reading it. It's super inspirational, really easy read. It has short little stories about like little instances that he found either inspirational or he just really wanted to share with people on his social media, and he shares really great experiences. And so if you use a link down below and use the code TLEE15, you'll get a 15% off discount, and you'll also get a personalized signature from Dr. Charles Barrett if you use a code. I think if you get it on Amazon, it's free shipping, but if you get it off of his website, you'll get his signature and maybe a little note. I'm not sponsored by him or for these books. I just thought this would be a good way to give back to you guys and also to give you guys great resources that I found really helpful or enjoyable. And the reason why reading or learning new things is good for your mental health and physical health is because reading helps you make new connections. They also reduce stress, enhances cognitive function, and they anchor you in the present moment. And so that's kind of like a mindfulness technique in itself. When you're reading or learning something new, you're kind of focused in on that activity and you're learning and you're kind of in the present moment. And so you're not only stimulating your mind, but you're also being present and focusing on what you're doing instead of the world these days. It's pretty chaotic. There's news reports, social media, things happening all the time, but for you to kind of hone in and focus on one thing can be really good for your mental and physical health. Okay, number 4 is to have a routine. The routines create healthy habits and they also help us cope with change. And this can also help us reduce anxiety. When we have a lot of new tasks that we have to tackle or changes that are happening in our life, these routines can help us kind of stay grounded. And a couple routines that I have in my life are my nighttime skincare routine. I do this religiously every single night. I have my stash of products that I have to use in a certain order, and this also just takes care of my own body and my skin, and it makes me feel good in that way as well. And I know I look forward to it every night. Sometimes I get a little tired, but I make sure to do it. And another one is taking care of my plants. I became a plant mom during this quarantine, and I guess just the feeling of taking care of something. The feeling of taking care of something. That sounds so weird. When you take care of something and you see it grow and flourish, it makes you feel good. Like you're proud of what you've done and what you've created and how you've helped it to thrive. And so I don't water every day, but I do tend to them. I have a couple that are propagating and I'll change out the water every 2 or 3 days. For my plants outside, they do need water every day. It's been really hot and humid and sunny in Virginia this summer. And so every day when it gets really hot, you see the leaves wilt. But then after you give it water, like 2 hours later, the leaves pop back up. It's amazing. And I know this sounds kind of lame because I'm talking about leaves here, but I mean, you should experience it yourself. If you have a sunny spot, a windowsill, get a plant and take care of it. It'll make you feel really good. Number 5 is organizing your space and organizing your schedule. Clutter is often correlated with stress and anxiety, and it sounds kind of counterintuitive, but cleaning a small part of my house actually helps me de-stress sometimes. And I'm a clutter girl. I have so much stuff and it's always really messy, but when I feel like really chaotic and I don't know, when I need some peace, I find a space to clean. And so whether that's my closet or the space where I do my work, or whether it's a kitchen or doing the dishes, it could be something really small. Just the process of cleaning helps you relax. And then after you're done, your space is clean, and so you feel organized. This also goes for your schedule. Look at your calendar, see if you can organize your meetings or whatever you have going on that week. Number 6 is listening to music, and I'm not like a huge music fanatic. Like I won't die without music, but I find that listening to music really boosts my mood. I mean, sometimes it makes me feel calm, sometimes it makes me feel happy, but I think it kind of feeds your senses. And so like auditorily, obviously, since it's music, but I think music can also be a medium for processing emotions, or it could be utilized to calm your body and mind. And so in the morning, if I'm having a really hard time waking up, I'll just turn on some music. It really helps my mind and my body wake up and feel better. When I'm feeling really crappy, or if I, get into like a small argument with my siblings or my husband, a way for me to feel better is to listen to music. And also, if I'm feeling really unmotivated to study, I will turn on some chill like background music on YouTube, and that really helps me to focus on my work. It's really strange. You guys should try it. All right, number 7 is to do something that makes you happy. If you reward yourself with this, it becomes really good positive reinforcement for attaining your goals or being productive. Taking breaks also improve productivity. productivity sounds better. You also want to make sure you differentiate nurturing activities and indulgent activities, because indulgent activities could become harmful. So if you want to treat yourself and you get yourself like a huge cake and you finish that in one sitting, that becomes indulgent. Something that I like to do that makes me happy is to make my morning coffee. I have a Keurig, and so I'll make my iced coffee. Even the process of making the coffee brings me so much joy, and that's a routine in itself. I also love doing my nails. I actually like getting them done, but because of quarantine, I started doing them myself, and it's just taking care of yourself that makes you feel good. Because you're prioritizing your own physical and mental well-being. Number 8 is gratitude and journaling, and this is something that I've been practicing on and off. I won't say like, oh my gosh, like you have to do it. Self-care is really like personal, and so something that I find is helpful to me might not really apply to you, or maybe you'll find some of these tips helpful. But I find journaling and gratitude journaling to be a good mindfulness activity for myself, and it also calms me down. Especially for gratitude, it promotes positive mindset, reduces stress, and it refocuses your mind to appreciate the things that you have. This doesn't mean that you discount all the struggles that you have. While you may be in a crappy mood, or you might be in a bad situation, there are still things that you can be thankful for, whether that's health or the people in your life, or I don't know, it might be something that you have or skill. It's limitless. But it's really about your mindset and how you think about what you have and the world and your perspectives. And for journaling, it gives you another medium. It's kind of like music, but it gives you another medium to express yourself. For me, I use a bullet journal, and it kind of gives me a way to be creative. And I'm not a super creative person, but it gives me a chance to, doodle and write my ideas out. And it's a nice way to kind of put my thoughts onto paper. Okay, number 9 is setting boundaries. Setting boundaries is really important. I've mentioned it in a few videos, but setting boundaries could be saying no, it could be taking a day off, it could be setting a budget. You can kind of interpret this in whatever way you want, whichever way it applies to you. Healthy boundaries make sure you're physically and mentally stable. And the biggest reason why I think this is important for me is because poor boundaries lead to resentment, anger, and burnout, and that's huge for me. I think I do have a hard time with this one, saying no professionally, saying no to friends, and even though I feel like I'm being nice to those people by saying yes, inside I feel resentment towards them, because I'm like, oh my gosh, like why do they need my help? Or why couldn't they choose a different day? I end up blaming that person when I could have been the one that set those boundaries. And so it becomes taxing on my mental health. And burnout for sure. I mean, when you're in grad school or when you're working, you already have so much on your plate. Some examples of setting good boundaries is limiting the amount of work you take home, not holding yourself accountable for every student's future. I think that's a huge one and something I'm going to have to work on. I don't want to blame myself for everything that happens. And keeping your professional life separate from your personal life. Where is my number 10? Do I have a number 10? I'm confused. I thought I had 10. Okay, what is my 10th one? Okay, let me think. I know what my 10th one was. I don't know why it disappeared from my list. But number 10 was social self-care. And so hanging out with people, I know it's really hard in quarantine, but you can do it virtually through Zoom or FaceTime. It's not the same, but it's still good to maintain those relationships. If you want to see people in person, have a picnic outside or do to-go food or take a walk with them, of course, while taking safety precautions. Wear a mask, keep your distance, use a lot of sanitizer, wash your hands often. But these social interactions are so important for our physical and mental health. And then I also saw, while I was doing some research on this, that even having a pet and like having that like physical contact and taking care of a pet can help you boost your mental health, because that also counts as social self-care. That's a wrap. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to use my links below to purchase Dr. Barrett's books with the discount code for a 15% discount and a signed copy of the book. Also, like this video and comment down below if you have any other self-care tips. What helps you take care of your mental and physical health, especially during this crazy time? Let me know down below, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!